looked at the clock. It was 11:15. What's she doing, Lydia asked. Nothing, I said. She has a star just like yours, and she's pulling at it. She looks like she doesn't know what to do. Suddenly we heard more footsteps on the stairway. Madame 11 o'clock fled to the top floor in fear. The footsteps stopped at my door. This time I let Lydia look through the keyhole. It's a big man with a red face, she whispered. He's looking right this way. The man said in a low voice, Quick, open up. It's me, the Midnight Ghost. Lydia and I were too scared to breathe. The man repeated, Open up. You know me. It's the Midnight Ghost. Lydia and I stayed where we were, our bare feet on the cold tile floor and our hearts pounding. That's when we heard still more footsteps coming upstairs. What questions can you ask about the story right now? Activist. That's when we heard still more footsteps coming upstairs. Lydia looked at me in horror, but this time I recognized my parents' steps. Quick, I said to Lydia, back to bed or we'll really be in trouble. And so Helen and Lydia lay in bed and pretend like they're sleeping as long as they can, until finally Lydia blurts out about who has come to the door. So they describe about Madame 11 o'clock, the Midnight Ghost. The parents don't believe them at first. They think they've just been telling scary stories, until the girls are so insistent that Papa and Mama look worried. Papa said, I'm going to see what's out there. Moments later, he came back in with Madame 11 o'clock. She was deathly pale. She nervously touched her star and said, I don't want to bother you. I paid your neighbor to help me, but now he's not there. And I can't go back home or the police will find me and take me away. It's already started. They're arresting everyone like me. Then she added timidly, I'm Mrs. Keller. Why did you say I'm Madame 11 o'clock before? I asked. Oh, said Mrs. Keller, it's a code name. Everyone your neighbor was supposed to help has one, a code with the time we're supposed to show up, but your neighbor is gone. Now I understood. Midnight Ghost was a code name too. When he knocked at the door, he'd simply gotten the wrong apartment. I said to Papa, the Midnight Ghost is still on the stairs. No, Papa said, no one's there. I'm sure I looked. So maybe the Midnight Ghost was a real ghost, since he had disappeared. I looked at Lydia to see what she thought of all this. But Lydia wasn't looking at me. She was staring at the yellow star on Madame 11 o'clock's coat. Suddenly she turned to Mama and said, I'd like to go home. I was shocked and thought Mama would say no and send her back to bed with me. After all, it was past midnight and Lydia had been invited to my birthday party. So Lydia's insistent on putting on her jacket and wanting to go home, and Mama and Papa are trying to decide what they should do. Until finally Papa decides that he'll take her home. Come on, Lydia, let's go. That made me furious. I shouted at Lydia, What's the matter with you? It's my birthday. You've forgotten all about it. Lydia seemed very embarrassed. She handed me a little package and said, No, I haven't forgotten. Here's your present. I made it myself. I hope you like it. Then, without looking at me, she followed my father out the door. Mama gave her a kiss before she left, but I didn't. I felt so angry, so hurt at being left by my best friend on my birthday, that I shouted at her from the top of the stairs, I don't care. You're not my friend anymore. Why did I tell her she wasn't my friend when I actually loved her so much? Sometimes you say things you don't really mean, things you're sorry about for a long time afterward. Now I'm old, and I still feel sorry about it, because I never saw Lydia again. What questions can you ask about this book? I'd like you to reread your questions and put a check next to those that were answered in the text. And now I'd like you to look at your questions and turn to a partner and use your questions to discuss the text.